Hi everyone, my name is Janet and I'll be sharing our paper, Trauma-Informed Computing Towards Safer Technology Experiences for All. Content warning. This video contains discussions of intimate partner violence, digital abuse, and trauma, which may be harmful to some audiences. I will pause here for a moment in case you would like to close the video or leave the room. Alright, let's begin with a working definition of trauma. Trauma is the experience and resulting aftermath of an extremely distressing event or a series of events, such as violence or abuse. Trauma is unfortunately widespread, with some reports estimating that 70% of people experience at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. Trauma frequently has long-lasting adverse effects on people's lives, careers, mental, physical health, and well-being. This paper investigates what is the role of trauma in people's interactions with technology? For example, technology may directly facilitate trauma, and technology may unintentionally re-traumatize people. Knowing this, how can we design, deploy, and support technologies that account for the potential effects of trauma? Technology can cause and exacerbate trauma in a wide range of contexts. In our paper, we show this with 3 specific domains: gender transition, identity theft, and intimate partner violence. In this video, we share a vignette on Jamie and her experience with technology-enabled intimate partner violence. Jamie trusted her partner to manage her technologies such as phone and email accounts. After all, she did not feel tech-savvy and her partner was a software engineer. But over years of their marriage, her partner increasingly sought to control her. Jamie realized that he was logging into her social media accounts and reading her private messages. She became scared that her partner could see her every click and keystroke. She often froze in uncertainty while using the computer, even for everyday tasks. Eventually, she left him, moving out of their shared apartment. However, recently, Jamie feels paranoid and panicked when using technology. She gets locked out of her email accounts seemingly at random, and her phone battery drains quickly. When she searches Google for why, Google tells her that it could be hacking. Although this story is fictional, prior research, news stories, and survivor testimonies show that these experiences do happen, and technology plays an undeniable part. Toward making technology more trauma-informed, we developed a framework called trauma-informed computing. We adapted principles of trauma-informed care from social work and public health literature. Trauma-informed computing is an ongoing commitment to improving the design, development, deployment, and support of digital technologies. Trauma-informed computing has 3 parts: acknowledging trauma and its impact, recognizing that digital technologies can both cause and exacerbate trauma, and seeking ways to avoid technology-related trauma and re-traumatization. Trauma-informed computing has the following principles: safety, trust, enablement, peer support, collaboration, and intersectionality. These principles were adapted from SAMHSA's concept of trauma and a guidance for a trauma-informed approach. For each principle, we will provide a definition as well as an example of its application in computing. The first principle, safety, means helping people feel safe when using, designing, or otherwise interacting with technology. For example, alarming warnings about possible security problems are common. However, for trauma survivors like Jamie, such a warning could be overwhelming or trigger anxiety. Guidelines for creating a trauma-informed physical environment suggest using calm and cool colors instead. Such suggestions could be taken by app designers as well. Trust is built between users and technology operators by ensuring that products, processes, and organizations operate transparently, predictably, and reliably. For example, recommender systems, which often operate opaquely to users, might be a source of confusion, anxiety, and bias. If Jamie were to receive an ad for a tracking device, she may associate this ad with her ex-partner's intent to track and control her. But what if instead ads explain why they are being displayed? For example, this ad is shown to you because you searched, "Is my location being tracked?" The third principle, enablement, is about giving people greater control over their decisions and well-being. Continuing with the previous example, if Jamie were to see an explanation of why she sees a particular ad, algorithm creators may use enablement by giving her the option to opt out of similar topics in the future. This enables greater control over her online experience. Peer support is about enabling connection with people and fellow trauma survivors, as peer support is a vital part of healing and recovery. For example, content moderation usually involves a human in the loop. That is, people who must review and make decisions on content that can be harmful, violent, illegal, and more. Organizations can build in peer support by accounting for trauma in moderators and supporting their well-being through trainings and resources for peer support. The fifth principle, collaboration, means keeping people actively involved in decisions regarding their care and support. This means trusting that people are experts in their own lives. For example, designers should directly involve historically marginalized community members in decisions that impact their well-being, such as communities should have a say in the design of content policies on social media platforms. Lastly, trauma-informed computing further calls for attention to intersectionality by accounting for how people's lives are mediated by multiple interlocking forms of oppression. Consider how social structures construct and reinforce power relations at different levels. For example, facial recognition algorithms have well-documented racial and gender biases, being less accurate for people who are not white or not men. There should be more audits of algorithms and datasets in these systems that make socially consequential decisions and may lead to individual and community trauma. With these principles, we argue that technologists can better build for the broad spectrum of people using technology. However, trauma-informed computing is not simply a checklist. It is an ongoing commitment to improving our design processes and artifacts. Trauma-informed computing also does not depend on the diagnoses of trauma in users. The goal is to help all people with or without trauma, and the explicit knowledge of trauma is not required. Designing with the assumption that trauma is present will create better technology for everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and please find the full paper through the QR code in the slide. Any questions or comments can be directed towards my email or Ask Now.